Newly discovered details about the fatal accident involving the OceanGate submarine Titan, which imploded during its journey to the Titanic wreck, have drawn attention to its questionable success rate. The experimental submarine attempted to reach the famous shipwreck at a depth of 12,500 feet, but according to the company's liability waiver, it succeeded in only 13 out of 90 attempts, representing a success rate of only 14%. This recent discovery, documented in a 4-page waiver statement, has raised major questions about the reliability and safety of the submarine. Several times in the statement, the OceanGate submarine is described as experimental, making it clear that the submarine was still in the development stage, being tested and refined. The submersible's low success rate in reaching the desired depth highlights potential problems with its design and operational capabilities. It also highlights the challenges the submersible faced while attempting to explore the Titanic site in the North Atlantic. All 4 passengers aboard the submarine, along with Stockton Rush, CEO of OceanGate, were required to sign the passenger liability waiver, which acknowledged the experimental nature of the Titan and the risks associated with the missions. This announcement underscores the uncertainties surrounding the submersible's performance and reminds us of the dangers of deep-sea exploration. The document also reportedly mentioned death 3 times on its first page, warning that guests could be subjected to extreme pressure, unpredictable conditions, and high-pressure gases and high-voltage electrical systems. OceanGate said on its archived website that it had completed more than 14 expeditions and 200 dives in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Gulf of Mexico using 2 subs, and had first successfully reached the Titanic in 2021, according to a source. Passengers had invested $250,000 each to participate in this extraordinary experience, where they could view the unsinkable ship from inside the 22-foot-long craft. The submarine was operated by Rush, who deftly controlled it with a $30 video game controller. Following the incident, and amid much criticism, OceanGate suspended all exploration and commercial activities in an official statement. The decision came in response to the disaster and increasing criticism of Rush, as some people believe his alleged lax attitude toward safety may have played a role in causing the accident. David Lockridge, the former deputy of ship operations at OceanGate, revealed that he had discovered a lack of non-destructive testing on the Titan's hull while working at the company. Lockridge initially raised his concerns regarding safety and quality control verbally to executive management at OceanGate, but they were disregarded. In response, he compiled a report to address the issues and propose solutions. The day after Lockridge submitted the report, he was invited to a meeting by various engineering and HR executives. During the meeting, he discovered that the viewport of the submersible was certified only for a pressure of 1,300 meters, despite the Titanic shipwreck resting nearly 4,000 meters below sea level. Despite Lockridge reiterating his concerns, the lawsuit alleges that OceanGate took the opposite approach instead of implementing corrective measures. According to a lawsuit, he was dismissed from his position after expressing his concerns. OceanGate gave Lockridge approximately 10 minutes to immediately clear out his desk and exit the premises, it said. According to a source, OceanGate argued in legal filings that they relied on acoustic tests that were better suited to detect safety issues. They also accused Lockridge of breaching his contract, mentioning that he was not an engineer, and disregarded reassurances from the lead engineer regarding the adequacy of the testing. The legal dispute between Lockridge and OceanGate was ended in a settlement later in 2018. As early as 2018, both internal and external experts voiced concerns about the safety of OceanGate's Titan submersible, well before its disappearance during a deep-sea dive to the Titanic shipwreck site. Will Conan, the chair of the Marine Technology Society Submarine Committee, formerly the Manned Underwater Vehicles Committee, expressed his lack of surprise regarding the Titan's disappearance. He stated, "It hasn't surprised us. We have been aware of this project for quite some time and have harbored concerns throughout its development." Following one of the International Industry Group's annual conferences in March 2018, Conan took the initiative to draft a letter addressed to Stockton Rush, OceanGate's CEO and the submarine's pilot. The letter contained the unanimous concerns of the group's members about Titan development and proposed expeditions to Titanic. Our apprehension is that the current experimental approach adopted by OceanGate could result in negative outcomes, from minor to catastrophic, that would have serious consequences for everyone in the industry, he wrote. In addition, Deep-sea expert Rob McCallum expressed concern about the use of Bluetooth for Titan's operating system. Every sub in the world has hardwired controls for a reason, that if the signal drops out, you're not fucked. After CEO Rush declined to obtain marine certification for the Titan, he decided to disassociate himself from the project. In 2020, tests revealed that the original carbon fiber structure of the submarine exhibited signs of cyclic fatigue, necessitating a complete reconstruction of the hull. This compromised the sub's depth rating, rendering it incapable of reaching the necessary depths required to access the Titanic, as reported by TechCrunch. During an interview, CEO Rush made unsettling remarks about the structure and safety of the submarine. "I think it was General MacArthur who said, 'You're remembered for the rules you break,'" he said. "You know, I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me." It may take up to 18 months to determine the cause of Titan's implosion. Nevertheless, engineers are already pointing out weaknesses in the submarine's design. The design of the Titan submarine, which imploded on June 18, 2023, differs significantly from other submarines. According to Stockton Rush, CEO of OceanGate, Titan's parent company, the submarine was intended to become the new standard for deep-sea vehicles. However, some technical experts tell us that these cost savings may have contributed to the Titan's fatal accident. The experts compared the Titan to the Alvin, a United States Navy research submarine that has performed more than 4,500 safe dives since 1973. However, these two designs show significant differences. The main difference between the Titan and the Alvin lies in the shape of their hulls. The Titan has a cylindrical hull, while the Alvin and other submarines have a spherical hull. Its cylindrical design allows 5 people to fit in the Titan's cabin, making this design more profitable than that of the Alvin, which fits only 3 people. However, at a depth similar to that of the Titanic, nearly 4,000 meters underwater, a submarine is exposed to tremendous pressure. With a spherical hull, this pressure is evenly distributed, so the deformation of the material is similar everywhere. With other shapes, however, the pressure is distributed disproportionately, resulting in uneven deformation of different parts of the submarine. This significantly increases the risk of implosion. The Titan's fuselage is strikingly different than usual, being made of carbon fiber instead of the usual titanium. Carbon fiber has the advantage of being much lighter and cheaper. As a result, the Titan weighed only 9,500 kilograms, while the Alvin weighed more than 20,000 kilograms. Although carbon fiber is a strong material also used in aerospace, experts say it does not seem an ideal choice for a submarine. Despite its excellent resistance to tensile forces, the material does not stand up well to the compressive forces it must withstand in the deep sea. In addition, it is important to emphasize that the entire hull is not made of carbon fiber. In fact, the contoured ends of the cylinder are made of titanium. According to experts, under the immense pressure of the deep sea, carbon fiber will compress more and faster than titanium, which can make the joints between the two materials vulnerable. This is a worrying aspect of using carbon fiber in the Titan's construction. To save even more costs, the Titan was transported to the Titanic's location by a small mothership. Because of the ship's size, the submarine had to be towed behind it for 3 days. Both the submarine and the platform on which it rested reportedly suffered rough swings during the voyage. Instead, the Alvin travels aboard a mothership, and a crane lowers it into the water at its diving destination. Experts say extensive testing of the Titan was the best way to ensure the safety of its innovative design. Indeed, most deep-sea vessels undergo such costly inspection rounds and rigorous testing, conducted by reputable and independent companies. Rush, however, chose not to obtain safety certification for the Titan because he believed it would hinder innovation. In a documentary, he stated, "You are remembered for the rules you break, and I broke some rules to make this. Carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule that you don't do that. Well, I did." In the vast Atlantic Ocean, disaster struck on 18 June 2023 when the OceanGate Titan submarine, on an expedition to investigate the wreck of the Titanic, met its disastrous end. The fateful expedition, organized by OceanGate, was intended to investigate the remains of the Titanic, an iconic ship that met its tragic fate more than a century ago. However, what should have been a voyage of discovery turned into a nightmare that took the lives of all 5 individuals aboard the Titan submersible. The Titan submarine, a state-of-the-art vessel from OceanGate, was designed to withstand the immense pressures of the deep-sea environment. Equipped with advanced technology, it was intended to transport passengers to the depths of the ocean, providing a unique opportunity to see Titanic's remains firsthand. OceanGate, a pioneering company in underwater exploration, had been operating submersibles for over a decade. Their CEO, Stockton Rush, was a prominent figure in the industry, driven by a passion for exploring shipwreck sites. One such site that captivated the world's imagination was the sunken Titanic, resting at a depth of about 12,500 feet in the North Atlantic. OceanGate had previously organized successful expeditions to other shipwrecks, including the Andrea Doria. However, the Titanic's mystique and historical significance made it a highly anticipated and challenging undertaking. Preparations for the Titan submersible's journey to the Titanic had been underway for months. Among the passengers aboard the ill-fated submersible were Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a renowned deep-sea explorer and Titanic expert, Hamish Harding, a British billionaire businessman, Shahzada Dawood, a Pakistani-British billionaire businessman, and Dawood's son Suleiman. They eagerly awaited their opportunity to descend to the legendary ship. On the day of the expedition, they boarded the Polar Prince, the mothership that would support the Titan during its mission. As the submarine departed, Hamish Harding let it be known in a post on social media that he was proud to be part of this historic undertaking. The team faced poor weather conditions due to the worst winter in Newfoundland in decades, but a small opportunity opened up that allowed them access to the depths where Titanic lay. About an hour and 45 minutes into the dive, contact with the submarine was abruptly severed. Panic and concern quickly spread among the crew of the mothership, the Polar Prince, as they realized that something had gone terribly wrong. Desperate attempts were made to restore communications with the Titan, but all efforts proved futile. The authorities were called in when the sub failed to resurface at the scheduled time. The tragedy occurred on June 18, 2023, when the Titan submarine began its descent to the Titanic's wreckage. According to the latest reports, it is known that as the Titan submarine descended deeper into the abyss, its journey took an unexpected turn. An electrical fault caused a complete loss of thrust, rendering the vessel immobile. At a depth of about 10,000 feet, the immense water pressure exerted a relentless force on the fragile structure, causing it to collapse. The news of the submarine's disappearance caused a huge shock in the maritime community and the rest of the world. A massive search and rescue operation was immediately launched, combining the efforts of the United States Coast Guard, United States Navy, and the Canadian Coast Guard. Aircraft from the Royal Canadian Air Force and the United States Air National Guard joined the mission, along with numerous commercial and research vessels. The search area was determined based on the United States Navy's sonar detection of an acoustic signature consistent with an implosion, suggesting that the pressure hull of the Titan submersible had catastrophically failed during its descent. The tragic outcome was presumed to be the instantaneous deaths of all 5 occupants. Experts believe the victims were probably aware of their impending fate 48 to 71 seconds before the implosion. Experts believe the implosion was so rapid and violent that the victims never knew it happened. The immense water pressure at a depth of about 10,000 feet would have exploited every weak spot in the submarine's hull, causing it to implode immediately. The electrical fault, combined with the disruption of the submarine's longitudinal stability, sealed their tragic destiny, akin to a scene from a horror movie. After 4 days of intense searching, a remotely operated underwater vehicle discovered a debris field approximately 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. The wreckage confirmed the worst fears. The Titan submersible had imploded under the immense pressure of the deep-sea environment. In the aftermath of the disaster, investigations were launched to unravel the circumstances that led to the catastrophic implosion of the Titan submersible. The United States Coast Guard convened a Marine Board of Investigation, the highest level of inquiry, to thoroughly examine the incident. The board, led by Captain Jason Neubauer, aims to understand the factors that contributed to the tragedy and provide recommendations to prevent similar incidents in the future. The investigation includes the analysis of debris from the wreckage, collection of evidence, interviews with witnesses, and a public hearing for additional testimony. Medical experts will also analyze the presumed human remains recovered from the Titan submersible's wreckage, shedding light on the devastating consequences of the implosion. Concurrently, OceanGate, the owner of the submersible, made a shocking announcement. The company suspended all exploration and commercial operations in the wake of the disaster. The decision reflected the gravity of the incident and the need for a comprehensive reassessment of safety protocols and practices within the organization. As investigations continued, the Transportation Safety Board of Canada launched its own inquiry into the Titan tragedy. The multinational nature of the incident necessitated cooperation between U.S. and Canadian authorities to gather information and assess the circumstances surrounding the fatal expedition. According to Spanish engineer and underwater expert José Luis Martín, an electrical fault occurred during the controlled immersion of the Titan. The fault left the craft without thrust, rendering it motionless in the crushing embrace of the deep sea. The weight of the passengers and the pilot, focused on the front end near the viewport, disrupted the submarine's longitudinal stability. In the wake of the disaster, investigators and experts were left with a daunting task: to piece together the puzzle of what went wrong. The recovery of debris from the ocean floor, situated near the wreckage of the Titanic, became instrumental in understanding the fate of the passengers and the critical failures within the vessel. Dr. Peter Gurgis, a Harvard University professor and oceanographer, highlighted the importance of analyzing recovered hardware to pinpoint the areas of failure. Carbon fiber hull, the front viewport, and the interface between titanium and carbon fiber were identified as potential culprits. 10 days after the disaster, the mangled wreckage of the Titan submarine was hauled ashore in Canada. The recovery ship, Horizon Arctic, brought several large chunks of the submersible, which were carefully lifted by crane. Despite attempts to cover the debris, glimpses of mangled electronics and the distinctive circular window of the nose cone were captured in photos. The specialized remote-controlled vehicles used by the crew of Pelagic Research Services played a crucial role in locating the shattered submersible. In the aftermath of the disaster, an animation depicting the implosion of the Titan submarine received much attention and was viewed more than 5 million times in just 11 days. The video was created by a YouTube channel that specializes in technical animations. The animation explained the concept of implosion and highlighted the immense pressure at the Titanic's depth and how this could lead to the submarine's collapse. The video gave viewers an insight into the forces that contributed to this tragedy. Chief Investigator Neubauer has expressed his intention to search for the victims' remains, but the likelihood of finding them depends on several factors. These factors include the cause of the implosion, the depth at which it occurred, and environmental conditions. In the case of a severe implosion, both the structure of the submarine and the human remains may have disintegrated and scattered to a great extent. Remains may have been carried away by currents or disturbed by marine life. In locating the remains, long-range aircraft and patrol vessels may be used for observation, or radar, sonar, or satellite imagery may be used. If remains are located at great depths underwater, specialized lifting systems designed for deep-sea environments can be used to recover the remains, taking into account the challenge of such operations. The Titan submarine disaster cast a spotlight on the dangers and complexities of deep-sea exploration. Experts and engineers weighed in on the inherent risks of venturing into the depths and the need for crewless submarines. They emphasized the importance of remotely operated vehicles and autonomous underwater vehicles, citing their ability to withstand extended periods and cover vast areas of the ocean while reducing the dangers and costs associated with human presence. As the world grappled with the aftermath of the Titan submarine disaster, it also witnessed the emergence of controversial events. Brian Saz, the stepson of British billionaire Hamish Harding, attracted criticism for making insensitive comments on social media. Saz complained about personal matters, drawing ire from the public and further highlighting the human toll of the disaster. Meanwhile, questions remain about the submarine safety protocols and certification. Prior to the expedition, concerns had been raised about the lack of certification for the Titan submarine. OceanGate executives, including Stockton Rush, had argued that excessive safety protocols and regulations prevented innovation. The tragedy sparked a broader conversation about the balance between exploration and ensuring the safety of those who venture into the unknown depths of the ocean. As research continues, the hope is that the sacrifices made by the brave explorers will help advance safety protocols and prevent future tragedies in deep-sea exploration. Thanks for watching this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notification bell to stay updated on more similar videos. We would love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share your comments below. Until next time.